Critics are hailing the Woman King.
She's a legend.
It's the gladiator of our time.
It is not enough to be the best.
An absolute blast. Uplifting action epic.
You are beautiful as you are fierce.
The Woman King. Rated PG-13. Now playing in theaters.
Funny thing about that, when I did the LA thing,
Yeah.
that little segment, it was like a minute long. I asked Tony, I was like, I'm not wrestling, let's just give me a minute long segment. And I made the most at, and that's to make the most of your time.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I got my man Flash Garments, who helped make my entrance song. And he wrote with Kanye on the Donda album.
Wow.
And had my man Guy there, and Heck, who's a A&R for Diddy.
Yeah.
And Guy, who's been in the Black Panther suit on Civil War and Infinity War, the Black Panther movie. He's like literally does all the stunts and stuff.
Oh, that's crazy.
So I had like an all-star group of people. I'm like, let's use this.
Yeah.
And a lot of fans were like, I don't understand what that was for.
What's poppin', people? Welcome back to another edition of Say Less with Kaz,
Yo.
Lowkey,
Yeah.
and ROSY. I don't know if you can see right now. Clearly, Rosy's OT somewhere.
Birding it out.
Don't say burn it out. Be nice. God damn it. But before we take care of the housekeeping here, again, thank you so much for kicking it with us last week. If you here watching the Rich Homie Quan interview, welcome back. Appreciate that. Shout out to Quan. And make sure you subscribe to youtube.com/Kazeem, and make sure you follow us on Patreon as well.
Yes.
We're building out our Patreon, patreon.com/sayless.
Yes.
Very, very soon to be able to get extra episodes, extra content, extra access, whole bunch of things. We're just gonna really, really dive in and really get in the know.
Interact.
Yes. The
Interaction.
Yes, it's all about interaction. But appreciate y'all, man. Jake's in the house. Rosie, could you hear us, Rosie? Okay.
Yeah. Rosie's on FaceTime out of town. Decided to take an impromptu vacation and not handle her business.
What's up? I mean, you made it look very thoughty. I'm not gonna hold you. Like
the evidence is key.
Yo, hold on. Is my mic coming in? Because it keeps cutting out.
No, I hear you.
You hear it? You good? All right. All right, bet. Yeah, Rosie, you FaceTimed us with like leather seats and blue skies and trees. I'm like
top down.
I'm like, all you needed to do was just see the logo or the emblem in the back.
Yeah,
and
just
this
tilt
is
your head real quick.
An extremely thoughty mission, yo.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do it like this today, Rosie. I just wanted to make sure. I just want everybody to see you before we.
Right, we're gonna get to our own business.
We're gonna replace you in a hot second, okay?
Yes.
So we gotta cover up for your seat, all right?
We'll see you soon, Rosie. Be safe. And have fun.
Do all that, all right? Say bye to your friends. Thank you.
And
yeah, get out of here, Rosie. What are we doing? What is that?
Nightmare on FaceTime?
What the hell was that? But it is what it is, man. So
what's going on?
What's going on, bro?
I don't know, man.
It's been a while since it's just been us two.
Yeah, it's been a minute since it's the originals.
Yeah, man. But yo,
today.
Again, shout out to Quan for pulling up last week. That was an incredible interview. Great time had by all. I loved how candid he was.
Very candid.
And make sure you get Family and Moolah when that drops in October.
Yeah, October 4th.
October 4th, yeah. And man, the good thing about Quan is that like a lot of folks were just so happy to see him happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just see him back out there again because he really held us down for the 2010s for a long time. So shout out
speak his truth and, not being so humble and then actually being a good sport about the whole Biggie shit.
He was a great sport, man.
He brought it up.
Sport. Yeah.
We didn't ask him about it. That nigga brought it up.
Absolutely.
That's, you like a guy like that. So shout out to Quan.
Man, so it's been a crazy week, bro. So I think we're gonna bring in some friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we wanna shoot the shit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But
Before we do that,
there is an empty chair here. So I guess filling in for Rosie today will be Swerve's here.
I'm
My
back.
guy.
Just when you thought you got me out, you just pull me right back in.
Mr. Say Less.
Yes.
Making his record-breaking 4th appearance on the podcast.
Four times a charm.
4 times a charm, fresh from AEW Grand Slam Dynamite last night at Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Queens,
sold out stadium. Just mere weeks after Serena Williams had that joint rocking.
Yeah.
Bro.
It was it was my first AEW experience.
Okay.
You came to a great one?
It was I ain't gonna hold you. I had some Jesus seats, you know what I mean? I was up there high-fiving Jesus and Sting.
Seats is that crazy?
Bro.
But no, honestly though, not even mad at it. Like it's been such a long time that I could just like go to a wrestling show
And just watch the show.
and just
doing it,
watch
yeah.
the show and just enjoy it. Like ran into a few people up there, but I was like, you know what? Like I just want to. Jake pulled up.
Right.
You know, what I mean, my boy Jeremy was out there. Ran into the folks from Unsanctioned that does Complex and all type of stuff, and lots of good wrestling folks out there. But man, y'all stole the show. I'd say. You know what I mean?
Thank you,
Like
thank
that,
you.
That match with the Acclaimed and Big Keith Lee obviously was something that was people were really looking forward to since All Out.
Yes.
And man, a lot has happened since All Out. To say the
Woo!
least.
You know.
Yeah. It's been.
I'm like, it figures this would be the week we steal the show.
Yeah.
This is the show we steal the week on. I'm
Absolutely.
like, but you know.
What I loved about Grand Slam last night though was like y'all probably had the most rappers I seen at a wrestling show.
Yeah.
You're welcome, AEW management. Because I mean, like, my man AB, he's a big connect in the music industry. He's the one that manages a lot of artists. Been doing it for like 10+ years.
Yeah.
And stuff. So he's like been on planes with like Wayne and stuff, and worked on like getting these events with like all these like the Rolling Louds and a lot of these festivals.
Yeah.
So he's been a wrestling fan for years, and he lives in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Which is across the river from Mr. Tony Khan and the Jaguars.
Okay, I see.
And I was doing like a signing, like a little convention signing thing in Jacksonville, like a 2-hour drive from me.
Right.
And he just like, I'm like packing up, ready to head out. And he just approaches me. He's like, hey man, I saw what you did in LA at the Forum with Jeff Hamilton. That was boss. That lets me know you connected with the culture in a different way. And I'm like, and funny thing about that, when I did the LA thing, that little segment, it was like a minute long. I asked Tony, I was like, I'm not wrestling. Let's give me a minute long segment. And I made the most of that, and that's to make the most of your time.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I got my man Flash Garments, who helped make my entrance song. And he wrote with Kanye on the Donda album. Wow. And had my man Guy there, and Heck, who's a A&R for Diddy. Yeah. And Guy, who's been in the Black Panther suit on Civil War and Infinity War, the Black Panther movie. He's like literally does all the stunts and stuff.
Oh, that's crazy.
So I had like an all-star group of people. I'm like, let's use this. Yeah. And a lot of fans were like, I don't understand what that was for.
Well, you know, I'm like, you know, wrestling fans are it's usually a struggle to kind of like try and cross-pollinate those worlds. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we went there last night. It's a big white crowd, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, but this is New York City, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so you're going to get a multicultural crowd regardless. So, you know, when you guys came out last night, came out with Fab, which got an incredible reaction. Whoo Kid came out with the Acclaimed. I mean, obviously, West Side Gun's always there, front row. Action Bronson had a match last night with Hook.
It's heavy, man.
You know what I'm saying? Trina came out with Jay Cargill. Like, Cardi B retweets that.
Yeah,
like,
today it's now Shade Room. I'm pretty sure TMZ is going to pick up on Whoo Kid. With him going out there, Fabolous. That's all just going to make these rounds, and it's going to get that crossover appeal that AEW so like desperately wants and needs. I feel like every industry needs that. You know, and remember, like not too long ago, like a year ago, 2 years ago, the diversity issue for the company was a big talking point.
That was a huge issue. Yeah. I remember
now this year, since like I feel like I brought a huge difference in presence to that company in the last 6 months I've been there.
Right.
And with like bringing the Kevin Gates on and like bringing like a Fabolous and Whoo Kid with the connections with my man AB and all that, bringing that story back around. Like we talked and had that conversation. It was like, yo, like we can do some big things. I was like, I'm your guy. Let's do it.
The last time you were here, so much has changed since you were last here. Right? I think.
How long has it been?
I want to say, I think you were just I think your NXT run was just finishing up.
Yeah.
Right? And, you were released, and then, you showed up in AEW not too much longer after that. And, love my folks at WWE as always. And not that they didn't treat you like a big deal at WWE,
Right.
but, in AEW, they knew you filled the role that they absolutely needed. Like, it was very white for a long time.
But I explained it. My man Teasy over there for Swerve City Podcast. He's here with me.
Teasy, what up, brother?
Yeah. So we play Madden like religiously. We got like a 15 people in a online franchise.
Yeah.
Like, man, I'm like, sometimes I'm the Panthers. He's the Steelers. He's missing the left guard.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a couple round picks.
Yeah.
I can give you a left guard. Hey, let me get a freaking linebacker for that.
Uh-huh.
That's what this industry is now. It's turned into, you talked about like, we should have free agencies.
Right.
We should have like, oh man, your years are up.
Right. Yeah.
Like, where are you going to go?
Right.
You have a 1 year, one or a 1-and-1 option.
Mm-hmm.
A 2-and-1 option. And like, okay, is he going to stay? Like the free agency season's up. Like somebody's going to be moving and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was just like, I got to let go. But guess what? I'm star receiver over here on the Steelers now.
Yeah. That's the beauty of having another company in North America,
exactly,
that people can eat off of, right? Like,
right.
It's I'll obviously like
that can actually match the dollar too.
That can match the dollars. That's an important part because you never want to either just. The biggest problem I had when I was working there was like I was fans of so many people that I couldn't get on TV. There's only 16 slots on Monday for a 3-hour show. There's 12 slots on Friday now, but it was Tuesday back then. And there was people that I was just huge fans of that I just didn't have the space for. Not only that, when you want to do something good with people, you gotta invest that time, invest that TV time, get that money behind them, put some money behind making the experience 100%, like make the entrance fire, make the special moments be special. Like if you're at another company, if you're at WWE, I don't know if they're gonna use like, oh, we got Fab here. Who are we gonna pair him with? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
or they do the easiest thing. Like they had the Migos,
right.
And they just like, oh, let's put him Randy Orton. I'm like,
that don't make sense.
Does Randy need that?
I mean, that in that instance it made sense because of the memes and like the Migos Orton and like that. Like I personally pop for Migos and Randy Orton.
But how many people know that?
That it's a very niche crowd.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a very niche crowd.
And you got and you're once again, that's if people know that meme, then you already have that fan base.
Right.
You need to get it to the people that like, okay, these guys are sizzling. They're on the edge of becoming something, but they're not there yet.
Right.
Migos could put them with that to, okay, now I'm paying attention to these guys.
Yeah.
So now the audience that pays attention to them, they know of the Migos, and then putting that star power with them, that puts them over the hill. That could be that little boulder, like that little push to the boulder that gets the hill rolling down the hill.
Yeah.
Right. Some people need that, but putting it with somebody who's just already at 14 world championships is like, he's literally a global star at this point. I'm like, I'm not sure.
It does more for somebody who needs it as opposed to somebody who was like, oh, let's just make sure we look cool, so we'll put them with our biggest star. So it kind of matches. Like, nah, man. Like, when my whole thing was when you could bring people from an outside world into something new, it's got to benefit both parties, right?
Exactly.
Like, it's got to give somebody like some sort of credibility. Like I've done a lot with Wale. Like when we have events with Wale to come to WWE and do some stuff there. Like I'm still have good friends there that work there. So when it would come to be like, yo, what can we do with them? Right. It would always have to be with somebody that I know they believed in, right? So I think the last time he did NXT was with like the Street Profits.
Street Profits, I was there for that.
Right.
Which at that time that was the push they needed to get over to the other side of that.
Exactly. Yeah. And you see where they're at now, where it paid off for them tremendously. Right. The fun part about last night was it was my first AEW show.
Yeah.
So like I didn't feel weird about it, but I definitely ran into a bunch of people that kind of gave me the up and down like, are you even allowed to be here?
You was on the bump and all that recently.
Like, you gotta understand.
Like, we got a WWE program guy here.
It's what?
It's a lot of tribalism. It's a lot of tribalism in professional wrestling, right? And I'm not a wrestling talent. You know what I'm saying? I'm not somebody who's in there taking bumps. I'm like, they in New York City. My boys work there.
Right. That's like seeing.
I'm gonna go see my boys. Like
that's like a guy in staff and management on the Red Sox coming up to the Yankee Stadium like, hey, how's it going, guys? Like, we worked together before. They're like,
so it's like it's culturally
Yeah, I mean,
upon.
it's not frowned upon, but it's one of those things where it's like.
Because it literally sounds like it's frowned upon. Like they were looking at you.
Nah,
crazy.
I just think there's a stigma
right?
out there. There's just kind of a stigma out there where it's like, you know,
The WWE pheromones.
if you're a WWE, like I'm looked at as a WWE guy. Like
Right.
let's
So
not.
all right, so yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know what
It's
I'm
frowned
saying?
upon that you were at this event because
think
you
frowned-
are a WWE.
I think frowned upon's a weird way of putting it though, because it's like, all right, it's not so much like that it's frowned upon. It's more so like a lot of people don't do it. Like I live in this weird space
Or
like.
Or it's like, oh, we got a spy. He's leaks.
All right,
Leaks. He's doing
But you don't
leaks.
work for them no more. though.
That too. I mean,
You don't work for them no more. You don't work for them
No,
no more.
I don't exactly.
Right, so
I
that's
mean,
why I'm
I
like,
still
why-
do appearances here and there. You
Yeah,
know what I
right,
mean?
right.
But like, it's
I don't
It's
understand.
not that
I
deep.
don't understand the politics of wrestling. So that's
Yeah,
why.
exactly.
That's why.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
I'm
educate- I
trying to.
understand that,
I'm just trying
for
to
sure.
ask to see how it's paired.
no, yeah. The best way I can compare it to is like if you used to work for the Brooklyn Nets and you work for the Knicks now, and you're going to Barclays Center just to go be like, oh, I like basketball.
But you're
I
like
got friends on the
backstage
Nets.
in the
Right.
in Barclays, and you're
Yeah.
like shaking hands with like KD and Kyrie, and they
Well, I
take a
didn't do all
photo.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
Were you backstage?
For a little bit, but just on the way out though. You know what I mean? Like I ran into Jay Cargill, good friend.
Yeah.
Ran into my guy Emilio Sparks, obviously. Gosh, it was. I didn't stay too long though, because we were literally like
Just
on the way out. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like we came down just to watch Rampage for a bit once we came from the upper level, and then it was just I just wanted to kind of get a feel of the show, because I've only seen and I've only experienced like a certain experience for live professional wrestling, you know what I'm saying? And I haven't gotten to experience AEW yet. And I haven't got to experience a wrestling show in that venue.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like it was
Like,
just different.
something like Arthur Ashe is just so different,
Oh,
unique.
yeah.
The acoustics are different.
Yeah.
Like even the setting, because like we have the stage,
Yeah.
but there's still people behind the stage
Yeah.
above that looking
Yeah.
down and stuff. So it's like you gotta cater to like all these different people that are super high up.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta be super animated.
Right.
Gotta sit because the sound's gonna travel, then come back down
Yeah.
and all that. Or people it has to register up.
Yeah. So the aesthetics
yeah.
are way different.
Yeah,
Way
that was
different.
definitely something I
Yeah.
noticed in there too. Like once I was up there, I saw like the sound didn't travel. It took a
Yeah.
minute to travel. You knew people that knew how to work that.
Yeah.
You could tell the difference between that and the people who were just like, oh, I've never been in a stadium this big. I'm just gonna do what I always do.
Like,
you know what I'm
no,
saying? I was like,
brother.
nah, man, you gotta slow down. You gotta
Mhm.
breathe.
We gotta
take a
make
pace.
moments for this. Yeah,
exactly.
Especially like it's cool that you have the big video screens.
Screen
that
help,
helps.
yeah.
It helps, but still, like people want to watch action, not like a digital
Of course, of
presentation
course.
of it. They want to see because they want to feel it.
Mm-hmm,
You know.
But it was a great show, man. I had a good time. Like AEW fans, they get a lot of flack online, but I had a great experience with them. I thought they were really fun and they're really enjoyable. And they're not what they say about you on Twitter, right? They're much more nicer in person.
What did they
so.
say about them on Twitter?
No, I mean you gotta understand. AEW is a hard. Can I say? I would say it's much more of a hardcore professional wrestling company, right?
Okay.
Like they
Fair.
and I'm just spitballing here. They're a lot of the fan base, not a lot of the fan base, but a good portion of the fan base are folks that are just like tired of watching WWE style
Yeah.
wrestling.
Gotcha.
And the crowd's a little bit older too. It's not as many families and kids and stuff like that. It's much more like young adults, young men, young
Yeah.
women, like, teenagers to like, young adult males or whatever. But it was lit, man. Like it was a good presentation. The matches were fun. You know what I'm saying? Like the entertainment aspect as far as like all the rappers and all the entertainers that pulled up at the surprises, like it's not gonna make any sense to you, but like this fucking legendary wrestler, the Great Muta, who like never
Yep.
fucking does anything. It's like it was like fucking MF Doom coming out. I was like, yo, I'm gonna come and spit a few verses real quick.
Right,
like
right.
that's what it was like for
Yeah.
wrestling fans. Like the Great
Yeah.
Muta's like,
Which I saw the Noah people in the
Right,
back,
yeah.
and they had the office. I'm like, Noah. I'm like. And then I saw
What's
him
happening
and
here?
walk past. I'm like, oh, we got homie here. I was like,
Yeah.
that's what's up. I seen him like 4 or 5 times. Like,
I've never seen him
Yeah.
before. Like this
Yeah.
is my first time seeing him
He's
live.
cool
and
dude,
It was
man.
crazy. He spits green mist at people. It's the whole thing. But man, like it's great to have you here. You are Mr. Say Less. You know what I'm saying? You
Yes,
are
he is.
our longest, most consistent guest on the podcast.
I told you every time I drop in the city,
The door's always
Friends
open
of the
for
family,
you.
man. You always got to pop in
I
with us.
come through. I got
You
you.
absolutely do, man. Door's always open for you, bro. So let's get into it, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot going on in the world.
So I missed the Doc Rivers
Yeah.
news.
What was that about?
Yeah.
I missed that too.
All right.
I saw him make a comment or like a statement, but I didn't know what was the reference to. Like,
Gosh,
what was
I don't
what
want to
he
get.
do?
I don't want to put my Dr. Umar hat on, man. Do I got to
What
put my
did he
Dr.
do?
Umar hat
Yeah,
on?
I'm confused. I saw
Yeah,
a
I just
headline,
wanna
but
know
I
what
ain't
he
going into
did.
it.
Like,
So apparently, I don't know if he was hacked or something, but somebody was on Doc Rivers' account was like caught liking like literally hundreds of on Twitter,
Yeah.
and your likes are public.
public,
For folks
yeah.
who don't know this, when you click the like
What?
button,
Word?
It pops up on your feed. Like,
can all
low
see
key
that
like
shit.
that. Like,
Yeah.
it's there.
You know what I mean? But Doc Rivers was liking a ton of porn on his Twitter. And some of the porn were see, here's the thing. At first it was like happy, happy, jokey, jokey, lucky, lucky. And then, you see some of the porn he was liking was what's the right term? Transgender? Yes.
What's it called? Oh, training dumb.
Yeah, so it got into a weird place of like, are we gonna kink shame now? Are we?
I'm
doing
like, what's wrong with that as a
I
professional?
mean, yeah, like if
I think in a weird way.
is he married?
I don't
I have no idea.
know. I don't know.
Okay.
But my thing is like,
So we're kink shaming.
Yeah, I'm like,
I feel like he would have got more crap if he was sitting there liking like heterosexual porn.
it's not like he was doing it during. It's not like he was doing it during the game. Like,
No.
Shit, like was it at night?
No,
Yeah,
but
I'm like, what the horny hours?
I'm not.
Like I'm not. If I'm liking it at like 12 o'clock, like yeah, okay, yeah. Maybe
Bro.
I might be watching porn or I just finished watching something. Like yeah, like. It's happening.
But you can't like it on Twitter though, bro.
No, I get it. I get it.
ignorance is such bliss.
He's
though.
an older
'Cause
man.
Even if he does like it,
He ain't killing nobody. Like
and
he's
nobody's
not
getting
hurting
hurt.
nobody.
It's just the
Yeah.
fact that we know that might be something he likes bothers us to a certain extent.
It
I'm
ain't
like,
bother. I just wanted to know
And
what
no,
the fuck
not
it
us.
was.
That's
Like,
not us.
But like just the
I don't
general
care,
public.
but the general public, I should say.
I'm like, bro, Doc, if you like the trendy stuff, listen, man.
cool,
Do your thing.
whatever.
Who cares?
Yeah, man, we love Austin Rivers.
Austin,
over here.
We
no.
don't got no problem with Austin.
But like that taps into some
taboo.
insecurity taboo
it's a
thing
taboo
to
thing.
the public, especially if they're like the fans of the team,
Yeah.
whatever. Like I don't even know where Doc Rivers at right now. But
It's just weird,
yeah,
man.
like
Like,
you, all them fucking Sixers fan be watching crazier porn than that,
bro.
Philly is a fucking
And you know
crazy
what?
ass
You
city.
can like
City of
whatever
brotherly
porn you
love.
want.
Right? Like I know y'all niggas
And
be
if you're
watching.
into brotherly love, that's
Brotherly
cool too.
love,
Yeah.
man. He's living the gimmick, man. It's in the name and the
I
title.
know
What
y'all
are we
some nasty
doing?
ass Philly fans.
Hey,
Sound-
man,
don't you
it's
shame
not
your coach.
nasty, okay?
It's not nasty. It's
Whatever
not
you're into,
Free, yeah, you
whatever you're
freaks.
into.
Whatever you like, as long as that person likes it also
Yes.
consensually,
Yeah.
and it's not
Yes.
against their
And
will.
wasn't
There's nothing wrong with it.
the Boston code? Wasn't that a
Udoka,
consensual?
it was a consensual
consensual
relationship.
relationship.
And it leads me to believe that his current relationship with
Maybe wasn't
Nia
active.
Long probably wasn't what we all in the public thought it was, And who are we, the public? Why do we even get a say into anybody's personal life like that? That's my whole
shouldn't.
thing. We
The
should.
but-
entitlement that
That's what it is.
the entitlement that social media has provided the consumer
Mhm.
has taken over how we view and look at our favorite teams,
Yeah.
athletes, politicians, musicians.
It swayed a
entertainers.
lot of things.
It swayed a lot of things, and it makes us feel like we can wave our finger and say no, just like Doc Rivers shit. Like,
Everybody
no, no.
everybody wants something they can look at and be like, well, at least I'm not that guy.
Yeah,
You
and,
know
then,
what I mean?
and
It's
it
like-
becomes a compare and contrast to like your life and your experiences. Is like I would never cheat on Nia Long, or I would never cheat on Beyonce. But it's like, well, you still cheated.
Yeah.
It's just, you still did cheat. It's just
Yeah.
your wife doesn't look that good.
Festivals, football, flannels. Some say fall is their favorite time of year. And this fall, there are now updated COVID-19 booster shots designed to help protect against COVID-19 variants. If you've had your primary series, schedule an updated COVID-19 booster shot appointment as soon as you're eligible. And don't forget to enjoy the foliage. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
And not even that, bro. Like
Or
it's
isn't
the
that
whole
famous?
I mean, I don't
You know
want
what I mean?
to.
Like
Here's the thing we have to talk about as men, bro. Like the whole like, oh, it's Nia Long. How can you cheat on Nia Long thing? It's like, man. Nia Long could get cheated on, man. Like
Beyonce
got cheated on,
like,
man. Everybody got cheated on. Like
your mom got cheated on. Like it happened.
Like the people that think like like it's not all a physical thing for a lot of people.
And a lot of things is like, our human race gets tired of things very quickly.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure the woman. I'm just not speaking about anybody specifically. I'm just throwing out there general. Like the woman you met at the time was probably the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. In your life.
Right.
Oh my God, I got this bad chick, and like why I got her from everybody else. Nobody else can get this girl. But I'm pretty sure 3 months, 4 months, 6 months later, there's a badder chick that's always going to come along that you could get. Or that chick that you had, it starts fading a little bit, and
even if it's not a badder chick, it could be just like, yo.
Like, dang, I don't look at her the same as I did 6 months ago.
We didn't engage for 10 years. You know what I mean?
Family.
Like, we ain't jumped the groove yet.
My
like,
spectrum was way shorter than 10 years.
Yeah, it's like, yo, man, like I don't know their life. I don't know what they relationship. I don't know if Nia got her own little thing also. Like,
we don't know.
We don't know about these people.
We don't know what pops people off. Like that makes you like, you know what?
Yo, listen, I am just.
If they told my fault, if they're both saying, if they're reporting this was a consensual relationship between both of those people,
Yeah.
It doesn't just mean that he knew about this. That means she knew of his situation.
Right.
Whatever that situation was, that I'm sure she has a better example, a better idea of than we all do.
Right. I mean, obviously there are details that we won't know 100%. So we're getting bits and pieces of the meal.
Yeah.
I think it'll come out.
It'll come out
one by one.
But it's just the immediate reaction and the immediate response is what everyone is triggered by. Like,
yeah.
For me, the jokes are funny.
No, the jokes are funny, and I don't care like that. You know, whatever happens in their own personal life, I truly believe it is none of my business, none of our business. But as we continue to discuss it. No. The reason why I brought it up is because I'm more critical of the reaction towards it. You know what I'm saying? Why we care about these certain things when other much more egregious, much more terrible things happen by much more powerful people.
It's not the lead.
That is not the lead story. It's not even the B story.
It's like you said, it's a young, successful black man in a powerful position, and it's salacious, and
the timing
of it is just what it is. It's anytime there's turmoil with black people.
Yeah.
That's gonna take precedent.
It's black people at the height.
It takes precedent.
Yeah, like he was just in the finals.
And the media is gonna point. Brett
I don't
Favre,
even think it's just the media, bro. I think it's us, man. Like we don't never take our own accountability of being like, yo, we drum up a lot of this drama. Also, we don't mind. We're quick to tear a motherfucker down quickly over something that has nothing to do with us.
Fucking business.
So do you think it's like if our community just like didn't give it as much attention?
Of course
and blow
not.
back,
It would just nobody would care. Nobody would give a damn. Nobody's gonna give a damn in 2 weeks from now about this. You know what I'm saying?
No.
But like the fact that was the story, this is the story right now. It's just like, man, like
if we all just see a story and we put down our phones.
The entertainment world taps in the black Twitter for bullet points.
Yeah.
What are they talking about today? What is going to get them riled up today? What is the focus?
We're so easy, bro.
Right.
Easy.
It's just there for white America to consume.
I know we talk about conspiracies and all that stuff a lot, but like it's so easy for us to be like, hey guys, don't look over here. Look at this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we do that a lot, and then we're just like, hey, we're all talking? Why doesn't somebody talk about Brett Favre? Well, because this is what you react to. This is point blank. Period. Like this is what's happening right now.
Or we do. Hey, there's a Fivio Foreign album coming out. Come on,
dangle the fucking meat or the cheese in front of the rat.
But it relies on the people that are talking, like us.
Yeah,
it relies on us too.
We're the consumers. We're the number one consumers, though.
We choose what to consume.
Yeah,
but there's a record of what we consume the most, and they push that button all the time.
So it's rinse and repeat.
They can predict it, bro.
Algorithms
They
is
can
real.
predict it.
And
They
we
can
fall
look
and we fall into that trap
every time.
fucking
Every time.
Because
Every
we
And
time.
we have these same conversations every time.
Every time,
So
bro.
what cycle breaks?
So
Who breaks the cycle first?
Here's the cycle
We
we're
gotta
gonna
put down the
break,
phone.
bro. Here's the cycle we're gonna break, bro.
We gotta put down the phone.
Ime Udoka, Nia Long, whatever lady on the Celtic staff, whatever happened in y'all bedroom is between y'all, and I don't give a damn, bro. Like, all I want to know is who gonna coach the Celtics and how that affects my Knicks. That's all I give a damn
And
about.
I think that's what we need to tap into a little bit more.
A
That
little bit.
instinct. How is this going to benefit or affect me? And if it doesn't, leave it the hell alone.
Honestly, that's the only thing I thought about. I'm like, all right, Atlantic Division. Knicks, y'all gonna
like-
go up against a team without their head coach. All right. Philadelphia
Right.
76ers, y'all got some up and down things going on. Brooklyn Nets, we don't know what's happening.
I'm like, this news is not going to pay for my Uber, bro.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
Like, I'm just like, I don't know what I get out of it. Like, it's
Exactly.
Just,
There's nothing
I
to
don't
get
know.
out
Like,
of it.
yeah, like I got a couple jokes on my timeline. Like, oh, okay, that was cool.
And then you move on.
Saw
take-
them
I take-
saw them on the way here. Like,
I take no pride in talking shit about another black man.
oh no,
in
I'm not.
power,
I
bro.
wasn't. I was just like retweeting, like just looking, laughing. Like I'm
No,
not.
no,
I don't-
obviously.
yeah,
like, I
don't
mean,
got-
but like,
I don't
even
got
after a
nothing to say
while,
about it.
I'm not perfect. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, that's not funny. Like, of course I'm
Yeah.
gonna sit there and like
Oh,
laugh at
this
shit.
is yeah. we
But then
gonna-
when I step back, I'm just like, we fall for the same shit. Damn. So we're gonna switch topics real quick. Let's get back into your life, Swerve. I mean,
what about it, man?
it's been a lot. It's been a lot since you were here last
Yeah.
time, and All Out happened.
All Out was
One of the most talked about. I'll tell you
Yeah.
this. That week, I think it was like the perfect storm of shit, right? Because
it was shit indeed.
it was like, because Labor Day weekend has like sort of turned into like the Thanksgiving Day weekend of wrestling, but football,
Yeah.
but for wrestling, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah, for sure.
There was Clash at the Castle, there was All Out, there was stuff leading up to it, and it's like Worlds Collide, all
Yeah,
these
Worlds Collide. I was about to say
events,
They
and
did.
then All Out was the very last thing that Sunday night, right?
which put a lot of pressure on our backs because we got to follow all that.
Yes.
and we're following like the meccas of sports entertainers.
Yeah, it's like their
and-
first stadium show in the UK, 30 years.
Right, right.
NXT doing the show that morning. Some people might be wrestling out, you know what I mean? Like, but
exactly. It's
that's
like,
a lot of pressure for
It's
you.
a lot of pressure on us.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about our match, the tag match for the World Tag Titles, we're going in as tag champions, defending it against the Acclaimed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Crazy been on the grind for 3 years in AEW, starting from the ground up. You know, doing a million dark matches,
Yep.
getting their momentum, getting their footing, trying to, you know.
They weren't
if I-
even a team when AEW started. Like,
No,
they were
were
put
not.
together.
And funny thing, back in like the CZW days, like Max Caster was coming in to do like training, like school shows. And
Oh,
stuff
wow.
like that. So I
Okay.
knew him back then.
Oh, wow.
MJF was in that boat too, so I knew those guys like when they were young. I seen it coming.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing them like get that momentum, and then Billy Gunn being added to their group. Who Billy Gunn is like the king of catchphrase when it comes to pro wrestling in our
yeah.
history.
Oh,
He can
yeah.
get any crowd around the world to say whatever slogan,
He's
whatever.
he's got two of the like 5 greatest wrestling
Ever.
catchphrases ever.
Of all
I got
time.
2 words
That's
for you, suck it,
like,
and oh, you didn't
didn't
know. You know what I mean?
then, like, oh dog,
all them shit,
So
yeah.
that's like, once again, that's a perfect storm for them to get together at this time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and they just really picked up steam in the last month and a half, I would say.
Right.
And then us coming in, like, the funny thing about me and Keith Lee, like, we get the whole like, oh, they got the belt because they're 2 ex-WWE guys.
Right.
I'm like, no, we got the belts because we're good at what we do,
Right.
and we give results.
The way
We
the way I
bring
looked at
results.
y'all as tag team
Yeah.
champions was the same way I looked at like Omega and Adam Page.
I said that,
Okay.
but I said that in several interviews
Yeah.
and media scrums, and
Okay.
it was just like, what? No, that was a different story. I'm like, no, it's not.
Mine was different. Like Keith Lee has been a world champion several places. You've been world champion several places. Like y'all both have hella, you know,
Right.
experience. So
But it was around the time that FTR got hot with all the tag title
Okay.
runs.
Okay.
So it was like, oh, we have to give it to them. I'm like,
Right.
I'm not giving you a damn thing. I'm gonna get mine, bro. What are we talking about here? So like they expect this thing to just be like once again that entitlement, that
it's what they
tribalism,
deserve. Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
tribalism thing comes in.
Yeah.
I'm like, but they worked hard. I'm like you only get it because XWE tag teams. where do you think they came from?
Exactly, right.
They were literally made there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a whole thing. But it was special. Like there wasn't a lot of pressure on the tag match because I don't think anybody expected it. There was the trios thing that was coming up with Kenny and the Bucks against Dark Order and Adam Page that they were like, oh, this is going to be.
Well, Kenny Omega looked in the camera and said, hey, somebody back there follow that.
Follow that.
And then
I didn't even see that.
Okay.
I saw that later because like I'm focused on the show and the match and everything.
Okay.
So I didn't even see that. And then when I saw it back later, I'm like, gotcha.
it. Yeah.
So
that was meant to happen.
yeah. So also this is the first time 2 black tag teams are going for the world tag team titles on pay-per-view in the company's history.
Yeah.
So that was there. That was like there's a lot of lingering little stories that were just going into this matchup.
Right.
You know, Chicago is like
It's
It's
a
wrestling
very,
mecca
Yes,
city.
it is one of the best wrestling
Huge.
cities in the planet.
and
Like,
sometimes
it's-
they gravitate to their favorites right off the bat. They know who they like. They know the matches they're gonna like.
Yeah.
Like they're already set in their mind. Like I'm gonna like this match.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna like these acts. I'm gonna like these people. And like they like I feel like it was just something unique in a lightning in a bottle with
Yeah.
when
when the Acclaimed
Came out, man.
the Acclaimed had just recently became like fan favorites, right? Like
yeah, like I said, it was like a month.
Mhm.
And then
So-
going into this match, it was a 2-week build.
yes,
2
yeah.
1-minute promos of TV time going into the pay-per-view.
Right. So when the tag match was happening, like I kind of seen the wheels turning in you and Keith's head, where it's like, oh, they really not fucking with us today. All right, I'm gonna make them really not fuck with me.
That's where I come in.
Yes.
I'm a bad influence on Keith when it comes to that shit.
Keith is such a big, happy, like cuddly,
Yeah.
nice but violent guy.
Yeah.
And
He has the violence.
Yeah.
But I'm the one, and that's what makes our story. That's what said. There's a bunch of little mini stories going into that,
Right.
just the match itself. Then there's stories within the tag teams. You know, Billy Gunn just left the Gun Club and his
Right.
sons. He left his sons
Yeah.
to join these guys.
Yeah.
You know, so you got that going on. And then they have like they're the most winning tag team in the company's history that they never got a shot at the tag titles though. So you got that story. You got us, me and Keith. I like threw him out of the Battle Royal earlier this year to try to win a world title match. So we have friction and we're like not on the same page sometimes, but we're too good at what we do individually. That makes us two powerhouses together as a team. Is like
Now
you
I
know,
mentioned
Shaq and Kobe.
I was
element.
about to say that. Like I remember you mentioning like you were trying to take inspiration from Shaq and Kobe, or
Which
it's
why we
like
did what we did at the forum because
Okay.
Jeff Hamilton, the fashion designer, gave Shaq and Kobe jackets.
the big purple. If
That
you
was
remember
Jeff
that picture
Hamilton.
of Kobe
Yeah,
hugging the
nah,
trophy
yeah.
with that jacket.
That was a Jeff Hamilton
Yeah,
jacket.
yeah.
He's the one that gives me my jackets every time I come out to the ring now.
Nice.
So that was like that's a story in itself. So all these elements, I'm pulling from all that to now. Now I'm like getting also. I'm also my character is a rap mogul. He's a
Right.
rapper.
Right.
It's almost like Diddy's versus LL Cool J right now.
Okay.
So we have
okay.
that dynamic going on too.
Okay.
Then so my character is like I'm really getting into the starlight of the hip hop world.
Yeah.
I'm really like Kevin Gates and like Fabolous, and now I'm going to the Grammys. You know, I'm doing all this in real life. I'm really doing this, but the character aspect of what I am is really falling into that, and I'm kind of getting my judgment is clouding a little bit because am I really into the tag team or am I really into this fame of hip hop? Like
The solo fame of it, or like just
right,
Like, okay.
But I have a partner, you know, that I have to also cater to as well.
Right,
So
right.
that story is playing in itself as a team. Every match we have, every promo we have, every time we interact, see a school, go do this, all those things. Like I'm always more flashy than
Yeah.
Keith as well. If
Yeah,
you notice,
yeah.
I wear jewelry. I have the shit in my teeth. You know,
Grills,
like
yeah.
I'm like a little bit more flashy than him. Am I morphing more to that side, or is Keith kind of going to that as well with me?
Okay.
There's so much of that. So going to that, I have that switch. I can get a little more aggressive. I can I'm a little bit more entitled than Keith is.
Okay.
Keith wants to earn it. I'm tired of earning it.
Okay.
I deserve it. We have two different mentalities, how we want to go about winning. And it's like X-Men mentality. Like Professor Xavier and Magneto both want a clean, purified world.
Right. One is willing to
One-
nonviolent.
Another one is like, all
by
right,
any
you
means
mess with us,
necessary.
I'm wiping you all
Malcolm
out.
and Martin.
Yeah, we eventually gonna get some peace, one way or the other.
Right.
And that's how me and Keith are. We're gonna win one way or the other. We're just gonna go about it two different ways. I don't mind. Like, I don't care if the crowd's booing me on the away team.
Now I want to talk more about that because you had the obviously the CM Punk press scrum took a lot of the headlines, but I think you came in right after that and you talked about, you know, the reaction you got from the crowd, and you kind of really let people know, like, hey man, I don't care if you like me or don't like me. And you know, when you first got there, people love you. You know what I'm saying? Like they yelling Swerve's house, whose house, and like, you know, like when you and Keith won the tag titles, that was a huge moment on Dynamite and a huge moment
big
for the tag team division. And then for it to like change so quickly, and for you to be so ready for it to change so quickly.
I anticipate everything. I anticipate the immediate turn because that's the fan base that I've understand.
Yes.
I had to understand the fan base before just going to an AEW. You got to understand in your landscape before you just like hop over it. Then you get there and you're like, why isn't this happening the way I thought?
Right.
Why isn't it like, no, you got to understand who you're dealing with and understand how to navigate and maneuver around it.
Right.
That's like, I feel like right now I get charged from the booze. I'm Pat Beverly right now.
Yeah. That's a great example.
I'm Pat Beverly. I'm going to jump on the table and scream. I'm like, you want a 6-minute match? I don't care. I'm that guy. What? Say something. And I'll go in the press afterwards and I'm like, yeah, I'm that dude. Say something. So there's no crowd that can get to me. You know, that throws a lot of people off too. So eventually they're going to come around and end up liking you again.
I don't think, exactly. I don't think a lot of people know how cerebral you are. I think like a few weeks, you came over to the crib and like we talked about. I think you were still in NXT for a little bit, but like
no, I was SmackDown by that time.
You was on Smack. All right, you'd already made your main roster debut, and like we was just talking about just the landscape of all the promotions and just how people are moving and just the way you saw. You already kind of knew what the difference between the AEW fan base and the WWE fan base was without even being in AEW yet. And just kind of like having that mentality is so crucial to a lot of young dudes. I think you mentioning coming up with Max, coming up with MJF, two guys who have become huge stars for the company.
Yes.
You guys have that similar mentality. You're never off, right? Like if you run into MJF in the streets, he's gonna be an asshole to you because he's an asshole on the show. Yeah, and if we run into you,
don't bring your mom to him.
Exactly.
like, oh, you gotta meet my like coworker MJF.
No. Like I saw him. He came into Comic-Con with us. Like I went to try and give him a dap, and like he would not dap me, and like he left me hanging for a while. And I was just like, I respect that so much.
But wait, why?
Why? He's in that. He's a dick.
Like just generally.
Like that's his thing. His character is just being the most entitled Jewish Long Island prick that we all grew up with. Yeah.
Like, he's like, oh, he's white.
He's like, oh yeah. He's foul mouthed.
But the beauty of like, is that his thing? Is that what he does? Is like the fact that you have to question that is the brilliance of it.
Yes.
Like.
That's the performance art of the professional.
You know what I mean? That's the brilliance of what he's doing.
But he's really like that.
I mean, I don't know the man personally.
That's the whole duality. Okay.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
Because I don't like him already.
Yeah, exactly. If you met him, you wouldn't like him. No. I don't like him, but I like him.
Yeah, exactly.
I respect him, but I don't like him.
Yeah. But you respect his art.
Oh yeah,
you don't gotta leave me hanging though.
Bro, I was with my wife. I was with Jazz. I was like, yo, come meet this guy. Like he's really good. Like we did the Comic-Con panel. He was a surprise guest. He came out.
And you brought him out and everything? Oh,
brought him out and all that stuff. And
that's brutal.
Wait, so he didn't dap you on stage?
No. This is afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Like we were leaving.
Yeah.
But like it's Comic-Con, so like it's mad people.
Right.
You know, everybody's
I was like,
watching
that's just still brutal though.
So I went to go tap him, and he was just like completely.
Like did he look at you? Like did he look at you?
No, he knew I was right there, and was just like.
I've seen him phase past kids, bro.
Yeah, like that's him,
and people like that.
Yeah,
I like it because I'm just like this. He never shuts off, man. Yeah. Like there's so many people. There's so many people in professional wrestling. Like again with reason. You know what I mean? Like it's okay, like to be like, all right. There's a character play on TV, and when I'm home, I'm fucking Joe Blow. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This dude is him. The best wrestlers, the best sports entertainers, the best whoever's. They are just a amplified version of who they are all the time.
Right.
So if he's really an asshole, I wouldn't
And
know.
even if he was a nice guy, I wouldn't tell you.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to know. I would
Exactly.
Like
That's
if I
why
saw him,
ignorance
like,
is
doing,
such a
like,
bliss, man.
If I saw him doing I saw him doing like a Make-A-Wish thing, whatever, and like he was still making fun of people in like wheelchairs and shit, right? Like, so I'm just like, terrible. But that's the thing. Certain wrestling fans are like,
I can't. Yeah, the way I'm wired,
Yep.
and just the way I'm built,
you gotta.
like, I can't.
It's a different mindset.
It
bro.
is, bro.
I
It
guess
is.
that's why
you
I never
respect
really-
it. You respect it. It's
Yeah,
like
but
it's like an actor who never breaks
But
character.
bro, imagine.
It's just like a certain level of just like, all right, shut this shit off. Like, okay, I get it, but like, yo, shut this shit off. Like,
Imagine Daniel Day-Lewis just
yeah.
in that, like,
If he's
from,
No Country for Grown Old Men.
that's not Daniel Day-Lewis.
Is that the movie?
No.
Oh damn,
It
that's
got,
the wrong
that
one.
was,
Gangs of New York.
Gangs of New York. My bad.
There Will Be Blood.
There Will
Like,
Be Blood. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Like,
My
imagine that 24/7, like,
but it's
yelling
like,
at you in your face and just be so eccentric.
It's
That
like-
is exhausting, my
yeah,
guy.
I'm
Absolutely.
like if I walk around with a mic in my hand 24/7, just
Right.
screaming at people,
Yeah.
it's like, yo, bro, shut this shit down
But
for a
if,
second.
but if you do it enough times and you become known as that guy,
yeah.
how easy it is to just shut it off.
And
It's
he's
not that
young doing it now. He's like 26, 25.
He's like a prodigy, bro. Like he's gonna be doing
Yeah.
this for a long time.
Yeah, he
He
will be.
sounds like a frat boy that went to Syracuse or some shit like that.
Close.
Eh?
Man,
he's
he's
Jewish.
from
Not
New
off,
York. He's
yeah.
Long
not
Island.
off, not
Yeah.
far off.
Nah, I don't like
But
him
yeah.
already.
But yeah, back to the match.
just
It's
for-
just
yeah,
like,
I don't
yeah, like generating. But like that's another thing. Like that's the kind of like reaction that MJF generates. I'm
Yeah.
generating something completely different.
Yes. Yeah.
Like it's like okay, I
you
can't,
definitely got the most booze last night,
which is crazy.
which
and
is
that,
dope.
And one of the loudest pops is like besides like us. Well, I'm talking about All Out. The biggest reactions was MJF.
Yeah.
Like positively.
Yes.
And like I got the biggest booze, and I'm like, ooh, this is exactly where I need to be.
Mhm.
Like, cause I need to be able to garner in emotion.
Mm-hmm.
If I can feel what emotion I'm getting, I'm gonna pull on it
Yeah.
more and more and more. And having conversations with Mark Henry, like WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry, who's now AEW with us,
Mm-hmm.
like about how to like get people uncomfortable
Yep.
with what you're doing,
Nice.
to dig into things more and more, and like, oh, you're backing off. Okay, nope, I'm still getting you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always on you. I'm always like, and I'm enjoying doing these things,
Nice.
and I'm enjoying throwing it in your face. That's like just motion on top of emotion on top of emotion,
Mm-hmm.
and like I don't think honestly in the industry, I don't think there's too many African American people doing that. And I pride myself in not just like being a performer. I'm actually like in it.
Right.
I'm not just like I can do a lot of athletic shit, but in this day and age, there's a lot of athletic people. Keith Lee can moonsault.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
like, he's 350.
I was
Like
you know,
clean.
I came in there last night with a lot of folks, not folks, but Jake never been to a wrestling show before.
Right.
So like me kind of explaining to him, it's like, yeah, he was like, you know, when you used to write here or write for wrestling, like what would you look for more? Somebody who can like perform really well or someone who's really athletic? I was like, someone who could perform immediately, like because everybody could do the flips and the athletic stuff and throw all that. You know what I'm saying? Once you get that connection with the crowd, whether they hate you or love you, that's when you got something.
Right.
And
The
a
worst shit
camera.
is indifference.
And a camera.
Yes. Yeah.
A camera. There's a live performers that are brilliant on live, but
the
then
crowd.
there's cameras that like cameras are people that can do it weekly.
Yeah.
Week by week by week by week. You don't need to because like in front of a camera it's so much more condensed, and you can always get slotted for TV time because it's just like a pre-tape, and you can like get a minute and a half. I can put that anywhere on the show.
Okay.
A live tape like in front of a crowd, that's a lot more time. You got to invest a lot more like writing segment because you got to
Yeah.
broaden that out to like maybe like 2, 3, 4, maybe 6 minutes.
Gotcha.
You know, so if you can do it weekly, but in a minute or a minute and a half, 2 minutes with that allocated time,
That's the person.
that's the person I can always throw on TV, no matter what. Hey, I need you to talk about this. Got it. Boom. Oh, I need you to walk to the grocery store doing this and then this. Okay, got it. Boom. I can need you to do this, that. Got it. Boom. You can just.
It's the camera guy.
It's always
that-
content.
Okay.
You can always provide content to a show, which therefore you're providing something for the show.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your relationship with Tony Khan, man. Like I know
It was great. Like as soon as I met him,
yeah.
upon
like,
meeting him.
we had him on the Ring of Wrestling show a couple months ago
Yeah.
now.
That's the beauty thing. He will do shows.
Yeah.
Like he came on our podcast, Source City Podcast, in
Yeah.
my house.
Yeah.
Billionaire, owns the Jaguars, just sitting in my house talking for 2 hours about football, wrestling, video games, cartoons, whatever.
And he's passionate, man. Like I know people are kind of like off and on about him, but like I dig the dude. Like gives a fuck. You know what I mean? Like he's like.
Would you want somebody who doesn't give a fuck?
Exactly. I'm like consider the alternative.
Running,
bro. Like,
like-
would you rather have somebody who's just like, oh, whatever, here's some like. Nah, he's like a passionate guy. So I'm like, I respect that. You know what I mean?
Like when like only in wrestling, like being nice is just like, oh, look at this jackass.
he's a pushover.
Corny ass guy.
Yeah,
Like,
that's an old school shit though, man. Like they're all like,
It
yo, if you're
is.
not somebody who they feel they can push around or whatever, they respect you.
we're in
You know, like-
2022 now. The whole like taboo feeling of like being an owner needs to be feared
Yeah,
kind of going away.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
fear doesn't like instill the best performances from people all the time.
Like who's the fucking who is the like textbook owner of a team right now? Like Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban is not an asshole. He's a very generous guy.
I wouldn't.
He's
I don't know.
Who's
I
Jerry
don't know.
Jones? Maybe.
No, well, yeah, I think he invokes.
You know what I
fear.
mean? Like,
But I
Mike Kraft.
Mike Kraft,
Rob
Kraft,
Rob Kraft.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
but Robert
sorry.
Kraft seems like a chill dude too. Like he's not Steinbrenner.
I just
Like,
nah, but
Right,
I think
right.
he's
I
not
think
Steinbrenner. He's not Vince McMahon. He's
I
not
think
like
these
people that
guys-
instills like, oh shit.
all the guys we just named, from Jerry to Kraft to Cuban, I think they do instill fear, but I just think they do care about their public perception a little bit more.
Right.
There's that too.
But I do think, like in the boardroom, when they're making decisions, when those doors are closed, I think those guys are monsters and animals.
Oh,
They-
I
they
agree.
should-
I
they
mean,
should,
you,
yeah.
there's only
Everybody
one way.
straps up.
Right.
There's only one way to get to not one way. But
Okay.
like-
There's
So
many-
then,
yeah.
so I won't say owners. I'll go more to coach level
okay.
of a Steve Kerr to a Popovich.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, Popovich could do both. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
But
Pop-
interviews wise, he's not very pleasant.
very pleasant. He's gotten nicer over the years, but like the
Yeah.
Duncan years, like he would.
He would insult people and throw their dumb questions back to him.
I mean,
Yes.
yeah, I think he's a by the book fundamental. I mean, that Spurs organization is that anyway.
Yeah, that's like the basketball
They're,
Patriots.
yeah, like
It's
they're,
like- it's-
they're
yeah, it's
by
the-
the book. They're fundamentals. They're
Yeah,
no
it's the
bullshit.
color of the jerseys, gray as shit.
Yeah, they're,
Bland.
Yeah, they're bland as fuck. So I don't
Yeah.
see them being like colorful and animated. Now Steve Kerr, you know,
But they
that
both have
team
success though.
huh?
They both are successful and like, but
In
Steve
their
Kerr's
own
more,
ways.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like,
So either way works for it. Just
Who-
depends on who it is.
but who's winning now though?
I mean, the Warriors.
There you go.
I
There you
mean,
go.
I mean, we'll look at the Spurs and who they have and who they've dealt away, and you know,
But
you see why they're not.
That mentality is just kind of like it's not that far removed.
I don't think it's the mentality. I just think that what you have.
a culture. I think it's a culture and a mentality,
So-
like,
so
which
I'll
is the
put-
same,
okay.
almost the same thing.
So I'll
in a
ask
sense.
this: Tony Khan, who has experience, you know, with the Jaguars, and you know, obviously running.
Who had a big
AEW
win this
for-
week?
Big win, you know. I picked up Trevor Lawrence in my fantasy team because of that. I'm like, all right, he's getting need a backup quarterback. Trey Lance got hurt. My thought. Well, I just want to know your thoughts on people who think, you know, I think on the outside looking in, a lot of people look at Tony Khan and feel like,
Mhm.
you know, especially with what's transpired over the past several weeks, that he might be like in over his head, or he has to be a certain way, or you know, even like folks that weren't back there when it happened, or even just know who the guy is, were like, oh, Vince
Now-
would never do this, or this. Like,
Now,
are you one of those people that believe like
Now,
he
I
has
will
to be
say,
a certain way?
I will say, if he is in over his head, this is speculation for me on my part. If he is in over his head, good, because he has to be challenged that way.
Yeah,
He needs to.
yeah.
He knows he needs to.
Because he's punching up at the end of the
He's
day. You know what I'm saying?
always.
Like, as great as
You don't-
AEW's doing.
You don't do a million dollar gate
Okay.
on a Wednesday night and Arthur Ashe without challenges.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think that's easy? No. He should be going at these challenges. He should be dealing with locker room morale and like this person wants this person wants this.
Right.
There's friction and things like that.
right.
He has to go through that.
Yeah.
If he doesn't,
How do you grow?
how do we grow? We have to go through growing pains. And I don't understand how people just think that's like a AEW thing. You don't
It
think
happens everywhere. And that's the
Vince
thing.
McMahon has fought people.
Oh my gosh, yes, on planes.
Like,
We've seen it. We've
fought
seen
him.
the documentaries.
Like
yeah.
we've seen these things.
Yeah.
Like but that was like 20 years in
right.
the
right.
game. They almost went bankrupt like how many times?
Yeah.
You know, like AEW has to face these challenges because they have to grow and evolve. And you don't grow and evolve without building
Challenges,
some damn you got to build Kevlar.
I think the birth of AEW came from such a place of it's the anti-WWE, right? Like so many people were so just sort of frustrated with their time there, or just felt like, oh man, this place is gonna be like the wrestling utopia. And I think once that's
like such
sort
an
of,
unrealistic.
Exactly.
That's so unrealistic.
Once that thing was kind of swiped away, people were just like, oh man, it's gonna crash. I'm like, nah, bro, it's like running a wrestling company is fucking hard. That's the one thing I learned.
Not only running a wrestling company, a successful $1 million making wrestling company, but also
weekly shows on national television every single week, no off season,
touring, while having to run your NFL team and your Fulham professional American soccer team overseas.
It's very hard. It's very hard.
You know how much money?
Issues, bro.
You know how much money is generated through that? It takes time. It's like we're in year 3.
Yeah.
Like, talk to me when we're in year 10.
Yeah.
If we still have these issues then, now we can have a discussion. But we're in year 3. And then like going back to the unrealistic think that just like, oh man, like there's like a new playground over there. I can just go and like just it's like
I don't think it was just the fans too. I think some wrestlers even had that sort of thought. Or
even
like,
with that, we gotta take responsibility as performers in a way as well, because if we put the same like reasoning of like why we can't be successful in one place, I'm not even talking about anybody specifically. So don't even try to quote me, bitch. But I'm just talking like just general. If we put the same responsibility on the promotion and the brass ring is not allowing me to break through, and you go over there to a different place, not even AEW, you go to Impact, New Japan, wherever you go, and you still can't break through the brass ring, we need to start looking at ourselves. We need to start looking at ourselves now a little bit. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about anybody specifically. I'm talking about any male or female performer, writer, any manager, booker, anybody. Anybody, guy who works the lighting, guy who's behind the camera. If you have issues everywhere you go, get out of the damn field, because it's going to be there everywhere you go. There's going to be challenges. I'm sick of the notion that people think they can just like leave their problems and go somewhere else and it's not going to be there. It's this entertainment. There's going to be problems. They have the same problems on Hollywood movie sets.
Yeah,
$1 million box office grossing films.
We've seen it with was Olivia Wilde, I think, happening with that film.
Oh, we got news?
I forgot that film. I forgot what the name of the film is. You didn't see that thing with Harry Styles and the whole thing? Whatever. Anyway. Yeah.
But it's going
White
to go.
people news.
Yeah. we in the cut right now. But and if you think you're gonna like just go somewhere else, like now there's a difference. There's a difference if you are being like, if you feel like the effort you're putting in, the energy and all the work that you are like, you're exceeding your pay scale or your workload, or you think you're doing a lot more and you should be compensated for all that, then you should get into free agency, negotiate, start talking to other places. Maybe it'll work out better over there. But when you do that and you do get that compensation, you better work and earn that compensation and live up to that.
A return on investment.
Have
you seen it?
Just like this, me sitting here like, and if you're listening, like you're not watching or whatever, me sitting here quiet is just like, I don't know the wrestling world like for nothing, right? So I'm literally just soaking all this shit up like a sponge. Like all the people y'all talking about, just how the scripts work.
I ain't talking about nobody.
No, just like just like the OGs and like the matches and the role playing and like the scenes and all that shit. Like I don't know how deep this shit really, really goes.
It's very political. It's
so now I'm literally like, oh shit, this sounds like the music business.
Yeah.
That's why I say
this literally
you'll never
sounds
see me
like
always say like this in WWE shit whenever something happens.
I'm like, this
now he's like, now I get it.
I'm like, this literally sounds like the music business. I'm like, that's why I know that. that happened to me. I've seen that happen.
Is he talking about Trevor last week? This shit crazy.
I'm like, oh shit, like, okay. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it.
But but I say entertainment industry.
Yes.
Well, I say music business because like that's the thing I work in. So it correlates to me a little bit more like how y'all are breaking it down.
But that's why I say like I always put wrestling. You'll hear me like say like the entertainment industry because it's the same issue like
across the board.
Parallel. Is like with stand-up comedy. If you're having a problem with freaking Showtime, you go to Netflix. You try to get a deal at Amazon. You try to get a deal. You do the same thing in all these things. You like podcasting.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Tell me about it.
You said something about like going from I think it was like NXT to AEW.
Yes. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so it correlated to me about like a rapper moving labels.
Yes, it's like
That's how I looked at it when you
So
broke it down like
NXT
that.
going from NXT to a SmackDown is like going from like what would you say, like Interscope, right?
Yeah.
Whatever those.
It's like going
Those
from like
lower
It's like
seeded-
going from Duck Down to like Def Jam.
Right. You just love. You're under the same
Yeah.
You're still under
Like whatever
Def
the
Jam.
subsidiary is.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
okay, all right,
it's like when
got
you
it.
get signed to Maybach, right? And you
Yeah.
sell enough records on Maybach. It's like, all right, Atlantic's the
Right,
parent
right,
company.
there you go.
Now I can have a joint venture
Yes.
with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now
okay.
I'm just
Now
now
you
I'm just
can-
Warner Music.
Now we
Yeah.
can start. Now we
Gotcha.
can start looking at some stadium shows.
Gotcha.
You know, a little bit.
Right,
So that's
right,
what
right.
basically it was. So
That makes
I finally made up the SmackDown stuff, and they were in the cuts. Frenzy that was going on at the
Yeah.
time period.
I mean, let's talk about that time period
Yeah.
because it was we're starting to
Again,
see,
did we talk about that before?
I know
No,
we
don't
did.
know.
I know we did. But
It's a little too close
I
to the
think
heart.
now we're starting to talk
Yeah,
about
no,
you
you're
know
good.
guys coming back and Hit
Yeah.
Row returning
Yeah.
to SmackDown and you
That's some guys I hope you have on here at some point.
Oh, 1,000%. I got to get
Yeah.
AJ on here. That's my guy. We
Yes.
talk on Twitter here and there, but he seems like a great guy, man. And I just love seeing that, the folks that were part of those massive cuts are all finding soft places to land now. They're getting either great
Yeah.
returns in WWE or they're getting returns in AEW. I mean, we saw Soraya/Paige debut on Wednesday, which was incredible.
Very
Somebody who's
big.
been there been at WWE for a long time, couldn't wrestle for years because of a legit injury. And it's great to see anybody doing something that they haven't been able to do physically for years, get a chance to do that again. That's always really fucking cool. But now, it's the landscape is just so different. There's no Vince. Triple H, who is, been one of the most, I want to say, forward thinkers in professional wrestling.
One of
as
the
far
most
as, like,
iconic figures in wrestling in the post 2000 generation.
It's wild to think like I'm willing to argue like his success outside the ring, like his post wrestling career,
Which is he had a big wrestling
as a
career.
wrestler, he was in the era where it was the biggest
Very
motherfuckers
big.
doing it. Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker, Triple H. He was right there. You know what I'm saying? What he's doing now might just supersede everything he done before that because so many yourself. I mean, damn near undisputed era. So many people in AEW, so many people in NXT still, some people on the main roster, main event, and all those guys came from the Triple H tree.
Honestly, with that being said, his most successes since that, when naming all these names, his most successes have been the women.
Yes, 1,000%. He is.
And I don't think we talk about that enough.
He, at one point, man, like women's wrestling was so not even a real sort of thing that people really fucked with like that. It was the bathroom break. It was the drink break. It was the change of channel. It was the bra and panties. It's going to be 5 minutes, this, that, and third.
They were literally going out there at one time and having 40-second matches.
In and out. Literally just that might as well be commercial breaks. But Triple H, which I think you're right. A lot of people don't mention how important he was for like pushing that women's movement forward.
But he pushed the limits of the women's abilities too.
Oh yeah,
like
I tell people the best match I've ever seen live was Sasha
and Bayley.
Brooklyn in that takeover.
Yep.
The best match I've ever seen in my own 2 hours. Just two women. You know what I mean? Just absolutely beating the shit out of each other. You know what I'm saying?
But they're like the finish was like a reverse Rana from the top from two women, like two women. So like that's like allowing. And when I say pushing the boundaries of like athletic ability for women, it's just like just allowing it to just like
be what it is.
Yeah,
bro, you gotta understand.
I'm like, if they feel like they can do it, I'm like,
let them do it.
I trust you.
Yeah,
I trust you. Do it. Go ahead. Instead of like bringing them down, like, no, you shouldn't. Like, no, allowing them to do that, to push that boundary, pushes the boundary.
This is me interjecting myself in an AB conversation. Would you guys correlate that to the WNBA?
Nah, because honestly, not for nothing, no disrespect to the WNBA, women's wrestlers are probably making more money, and
the attraction to the actual event is way bigger than WNBA.
They're the
for
event.
sure.
It's what it's
for
like.
Sure.
It's like it would be like if you go to watch a NBA game that's just all right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're going to watch like Charlotte versus like
The Pelicans.
the Pelicans or something.
Yeah.
And then after that, you get to see
The Lakers and the Warriors.
you get to see Asia Wilson versus Jonquel Jones 1-on-1, and that's the main event because they're so fucking good. They're like, yo, all right, we seen all this, but these women you have to see.
Yeah.
That's what it is like now.
It's
you
like
know what
it's
I mean?
almost like if you brought Bianca Belair to a signing, line out of the door.
Oh,
around the block.
She is
Around the block.
She could be the FloJo of our generation, man. Like she's legitimately.
What's the shit we watched at your crib that night?
Were you watching?
It was the
Money in the Bank.
Yes, the
We
Money
was
in the
watching
Bank.
Money in the Bank. Yeah.
And they were climbing the ladder, knocking each other off the ladder.
Yes, that was the Money in the Bank match.
And then the
girl
girl
Rory came over too. We was all watching this
and
together.
then I guess whoever ran out. And then,
Gosh, who
I
came out?
forgot who it was, bro.
Austin
Swerve,
Theory?
this
I
nigga
forgot
had
who
yo,
cashed it. I
this
think
nigga
it was
had me
Austin Theory.
hooked.
That was
Austin
Austin
Theory.
Theory.
This nigga
got
had
this.
me hooked, bro.
You added to the drama.
No, bro.
That's why I started to bring him last night.
Yo, I got to
I'm
clap
telling
for
you,
this man because you was telling me about this. I had to clap for my man, bro.
You know, I'm not the wrestling guy, so like
Right.
we was over there talking about some other shit. And while we're talking, I'm watching this shit. I'm like, what are these bitches doing? So like as he's
bitches.
I'm like, what are these women doing? So I'm like, as he's talking, I'm kind of like tuning him out and trying to just like pay attention to like, I'm like, yo, why is Shorty on the ladder and like there's a green briefcase? Like, so by the end of the night, he was like, yeah, like she got to climb the ladder, she got to get to
the night
this shit.
Liv won, and Liv's the homie.
Right,
So
right,
like
right,
when
right.
she won the Money in the Bank title
Yeah.
that match, and she cashed in that night, and became champion, which is like a rare thing.
And he broke it down to me like, this is how it works, and this is why like they're fighting for the briefcase. And I'm like, yo, this
Now,
shit.
I think. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm like, it looks so appealing. It looks like
There's so much.
bro, that stadium was lit up for
Bro,
that.
that's
match.
just a microcosm of what you could really
Right.
experience with this whole industry, bro. Like, and now I think the next jump for us in AEW is to get that for the women.
Yes, yeah.
To get 4, 5, 6 top, strong, heavily pushed women into some type of ladder match with stakes on the line.
Yeah.
Bro, I think that's our next big jump for like the next pay-per-view, the next big event we do. We got to get to that level, and we're still working on it. We're still like now having Soraya come in.
That's a huge get.
That is a huge get. That's another one that can have a line out of the door around the block, like down the street, of people that can like be an attachment, be an attraction to come in for AEW for these things. Like people look at it as like, oh man, like oh here they go pulling more talent. I'm like, that's a good thing.
It's a good thing, man. Like I don't. Here's one thing, and I think this is the last thing we're gonna talk about because I think we did.
Real quick. Who's Shorty that came to Wale Mania in Dallas?
Jay Cargill.
Like what's her name?
Wait, which one? Wait, which one are you talking about?
I think like Littlefoot or whatever her name.
Oh, Alexis.
That's
Oh yeah, no, that's the homie. She don't. Well, she's
just
training
started,
to wrestle.
yeah.
Shout out
she
in front of
does
Alexis.
it.
Well, she's a homie, yeah.
But she's the homie though.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
All right,
yeah,
nah,
yeah.
just wanted
But no. What was I gonna say? Oh, okay, so the internet chatter, right? This would be the last question.
Oh, I love fighting about these.
Yeah. So like, man,
I don't have a problem addressing it either.
It's you've mentioned on this press scrum that
Yeah.
you in your very Robert Sala way, you keep receipts.
A lot of them.
You make sure you follow what everybody's saying. Like a lot of times,
Yeah.
wrestlers try to be like, and athletes and people of public, public personas try to act like they don't listen, they don't read the things. But you're very open and be like, nah, I read everything. I hear what people say.
I hear. I'm like, some days I have time, and I just like, I'm like, you know what? I need some fuel to get some more shit accomplished.
Okay.
Sometimes y'all are the ones that do it, just by stupid shit you'll say, or or y'all put a cap or a expiration date on my success.
Why does it matter if you're just a character?
Well, here's the thing.
I'm just like,
well, I don't want to answer for you.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Like,
Why?
what does it do for you, or what does it do to you?
Oh, for me as a person, human, I'm petty. So I'm super petty. That's like, that's like saying like, Russell Westbrook's just a basketball player. No, he's a person too.
Yeah.
Like he's not like, like no matter what team, like it felt like when he was like transitioning to teams and stuff like that, I felt like he became a caricature when he was in Washington Wizards.
Yeah.
Like he's just like, Russell, he's that's cute.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like but,
so, you know, there goes Russell being Russell.
Yeah,
you know?
like, I felt like and I almost felt like he was a mascot when he was like in that transition phase. They're like, look, Mr. Triple Double, like, okay, all right, what's going on? But like,
the reason why I asked you that is because just how you've been breaking down like what you know what these things are and what these situations are and how you guys maneuver and like the scripts and like the characters you play. Like when I look at Russell Westbrook, like that's an actual person. Like people are commenting on his performance. So with you guys like are role playing. So I feel like they're commenting on the role that you're playing in these situations.
For
so
sure,
it doesn't necessarily pertain to you as a person. So that's why
you'd be confused how many people misconstrue that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
You'd be like a fan base like wrestling, like what we do, and especially if we're really good at it, where most of the people that we have on the roster are incredibly good at it.
Right.
They project emotion, and we pull from emotion.
Okay.
So we get emotional responses from people because we tapped into their emotions.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And like, there's also this thing of like, this is a cultural thing around the board. I don't understand this. Is like our society is really big. That I've noticed, our society is really big on downplaying accomplishments, and I don't know why they do that. Mm-hmm. They always play the comparison game, or like why, I'll say somebody like I'll never forget this. This shit was like on Twitter like earlier this year, maybe like a couple months ago, which like fueled me to do this new run.
Okay.
You know, it was like
was this the black wrestler list?
Not that. That's a whole nother discussion.
Okay.
But the whole
I want to talk about that too.
We can go.
Let's get into it, man.
Yeah, but like there was this one thing that was like people talking about accomplishments.
Okay.
I made this thing about accomplishments or whatever. And they like I forget how it started initially, but I said like I'm like, yo, y'all. I made a tweet or something like that saying like, yo, y'all really need to start like this whole thing about like discrediting people's accomplishments is really getting out of control. Some people responded with like, well, I looked up your accomplishments, NXT North American Champion. That's it. I'm like, that wasn't hard. Right. Like the fuck.
Right. There's only been like what, 11 of y'all, 12 of y'all.
There's been like 12, and like 4 of us were black.
Exactly.
So it's like that's not easy. Like, and that was with Triple H running the shit too, and like that's like, you know how many people I had to be like chosen over that? Like we had like a roster, and like I'm like, is that like not is that a thing now? I'm like, that's like saying like, oh, Eastern Conference Finals, accomplishment.
Yeah, it's
like that's not easy.
That's still an accomplishment.
You know, and like we do it. They do it on ESPN in the morning and like First Takes. So like we try to downplay some people's accomplishments to bring other people's higher than theirs. Right. But I'm like, we need to credit this too. This is greatness.
Right. It's like, where did that, like, I don't understand.
Yeah,
that.
I don't know if y'all
feeling
that.
No, I think that sometimes starts with us. I think that sometimes it starts with the actual person because we didn't reach the initial goal we set out to achieve, right? So, yeah, we may have won the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, we may have won, you know, the last round in the U.S. Open, but we didn't get the actual cup.
Now, as a performer, sure. As a fan, spectating, watching, consuming it.
But this is what I said about social media.
That's a different thing.
That's what I said about social media earlier. We have too much entitlement to our favorite people saying, you should have done, you didn't. Because you didn't, it's not looked at as like, yo, you're
then
still
get up off
good.
your couch and help me do it.
And it'll never happen like
It
that.
will never will.
It'll never happen.
It will
like
never
that.
will.
Like, come on, we know that.
So one thing I wanted to follow up on that point was the Black Rasslin list that I think if I remember correctly, you tweeted like, yo, take me off of that. You know what I mean?
did, yeah.
I didn't want to be just confined to like this, you know. I mean, shout out to the folks that do the list. Great people. Cal, everybody over at Black Rasslin. But you know, you made it known that like, yo, like I wasn't fucking with this. I took it personally on some Jordan stuff.
To a certain point, it was like I understand what they were trying to do. The message they were trying to put is like celebrate black excellence and success.
Right.
But it's also a disrespectful thing when you're putting like, it's almost like to me that 200 hip hop albums list from Rolling Loud. I'm like, you should not be putting like freaking Nas at 24. Like, name me 24 hip hop albums are like better than Illmatic. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so you're putting like Big E at like 12. I'm like, name me 11 that are like, what are we doing? You know, like.
So you're saying it's not just about you. Like, you see,
it wasn't a
like,
me thing.
Yeah, like,
and that's like entitlement came in with the people behind it. Like, oh, he disrespecting this. I'm like the black culture, he ain't for us. I'm like, motherfucker, I do more for this black culture than you ever.
Wait, why did you want off the list?
Because it was just like they're putting people like way ahead that for one just had a pay-per-view, just started getting buzz.
Right.
Because he's popping now and starting to simmer. He's not on fire yet. He's just starting to simmer and get theirs.
Okay.
I'm not putting people's names specifically.
Okay.
But there's these people, they're putting like male and female, they're just starting to simmer and get noticed, get the eye out there. And you're throwing them ahead of people that have been
laying a
pipe. Who won at WrestleMania.
Like WrestleMania main events.
Who won Money in the Banks. Like, so you're just gonna throw away all that because this person's doing pretty well right now.
Right.
They haven't no.
So you were more displeased about it being more about like a relevant thing as opposed to what they're.
It's cloudy. It's very clout chasey, and I'm like, and I didn't like that. So then I'm like, if you're not gonna do it right,
don't do it at all.
Don't do it at all, and I don't want to be a part of that. You know,
I got you.
Because it's like, dude, it's disrespectful to just a lot of people that have like really paved the way and are still actively going hard, and you're throwing them way in the background because you like this guy now. Because I'm like, Bobby Lashley is a U.S. champion now, and he was a WWE champion like earlier this year. I was like, he should be one, if not Bianca.
Yeah.
No, because I was looking at it as if like you thought it was just like disrespectful to put you in a box. I didn't realize
that too. That's the other side of that too.
Like, okay, so from that angle, I'm looking at it like, yo, that's actually dope because as a black man that doesn't watch wrestling, that has no point of reference other than him, and you know now you, I would look at that list and I would see like, oh shit, like these guys and girls are actually giving us something to look forward to, or giving us something to learn from, or giving us something to be like, oh, you know, wrestling is just not a Caucasian sport or just like that thing. I'm looking at it like, damn, like we have space in that too. I would never really understand the concept and the whole, you know, plight of it if I didn't talk to him every day.
Which is why, so that's
why I was saying, like, yo, isn't that a proud moment? Like, yo, I'm one of those guys that's getting me to look at it.
He's saying he understood that, like, you know,
what they were doing.
Yeah.
We understand what you're trying to do, but I think where he's trying to come from is that, you know, it's like the plight of black wrestling, like being somebody who's like seen it firsthand, and you know, I feel like I've been as close to it as I can without actually being in the fucking ring.
All you have to do next is just be a wrestler.
Yeah,
I feel like you've done everything that you could
done
do.
A lot, right? But like, I think seeing it is just like, it's hard to. And I love the list, and I love the ranks, and I love that they do it every year, and I hope it grows every single year.
Now I'm not talking about the 500 list. That was about
PWI.
Not that one, but there was like another one. It was like another. I don't know the forum or the page that did it or whatever, but it was like a 50.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. So I'm saying like the when it comes to black wrestlers, I think what you're trying to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that there's so many hurdles that black wrestlers have had to jump over anyway. Just
now we got
to this point.
Now we got to jump over other black wrestlers.
Like it's that, and it's like, yo, like we're at a point where it's like, man, how can you not like look at Bobby Lashley and be like, this guy, like when he's done doing this, like we're gonna look back and be like, damn, he's one of the greatest to ever do it. Yeah. When Big E's done doing this, it's like, yo, this guy fucking sold a zillion cereal boxes.
Like that's that's what I'm
I love catch can wrestling as much as anybody.
It's beautiful.
Are you putting asses in seats? Are you selling merch? Are you selling? Do people know who you are outside this?
Like, Xavier Woods, will be another one. That's like, dog. Like
Woods
I think
is a fucking visionary, bro.
Bro, he exceeds. I feel like he exceeds championships for what he's doing.
Yes,
like it's brilliant.
He's a visionary, man. Like everything he does,
truly brilliant. But I think once again we discredit accomplishments because he's never won the big one.
Right.
Like the stuff he's doing, period,
outside
for his
ring.
career, the stuff he's doing in his career, period, for still running, blowing his Achilles tendon and coming back still like winning King of the Ring and doing all the stuff he's doing. That's an accomplishment in itself.
Your tag team partner almost died last year, bro. Like
I say this in every interview.
he almost died last year, legitimately. From
but now
COVID.
I'm like, oh, he's overweight. Oh, he's this. I thought he was going to be a big main eventer. I'm like, we won the title in the main event. Like, what are you doing, my guy? But like, but it's just like that. And I really wish we would like thread the needle with this fickleness when it comes to that. And on the other side of that, with Black Rasslin list, I'm like, okay, he's a great black wrestler. All right, if he's one of your favorite black wrestlers, how do you compare him to Seth Rollins? Oh, Seth Rollins is better. Oh, how about Brock? Oh, he's better. What about Okada? They're better. Like, so we're just slowly moving down another list now because
I see what you're
now
saying.
I'm like, okay, we good for this.
Right.
I want to be good for all of it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a competition with like my brothers and sisters.
Okay. I
We
see.
need to be together in competition with the world
I see.
of what we're doing.
Which is why I like that. I don't pay much attention to the PWR 500, but I'm glad. Like I think Bobby Lashley was like top 5 this year or something like that. I'm like, well, fucking deserved.
Thank you.
Because
that's what I'm saying. Where do we compare him to like Roman and like
he's
like
just as important
Moxley,
to that company.
Kenny?
Yeah.
Like
I know. I get what you're saying, and I understand and I respect it, obviously, because you put a lot into this shit, and this is blood, sweat, and tears. But I think there is a percentage of people out there that does not know 4 of the names you just mentioned that he just mentioned, right?
Yeah, but I'm talking about the forum that do and how they how they cater to that.
No, yeah,
right,
and I'm just speaking for a person that never really had an interest in it.
For sure.
And now, like, my actual inside view, like, he's brought a couple of wrestlers on this program.
Yeah, you met Omar, my man.
They're black men. So now I'm looking at it like, oh, shit. Like,
we out here.
They out here. These niggas are good at it. They niggas are getting stadium shows.
I'm going to turn this shit to the Rogan podcast of black wrestlers. Like, instead of Rogan got all the MMA fighters, I'm like, bring all the black wrestlers here.
I think
all the wrestlers.
To me, that's important because you're the entry point of discovery for mainly Caucasian, sporting event.
Exactly.
So now you've been here 5 times.
But what makes it dope though, and we'll wrap this up after this. 'Cause I got a break. What makes it dope though is that now he can be the entry point for somebody who sees Fab post on his Instagram. Oh,
right.
He's at AEW
But this is what I'm saying.
Oh shit, Fab's at a wrestling event. Oh shit.
Like someone
WWE?
like me,
what's this?
Someone like me will look at that and be like, well, yeah, Lowe's a heavy hip hop head. Now now they hear me talking about wrestling. So it's like, yo, who's this Swerve dude?
And
oh shit, he was with Fab and Whoo Kid and Trina
and Cardi B retweets
and Ashe and Bronson. So that to me, that's important that they see you and you're a representative of this huge, humongous sporting thing.
And with that being said, that's how important you guys are to me because y'all tap me into that kind of like that circle, that bubble. So I'm like, oh, Kaz taps me in all the time when you're retweeting what you're talking about, what you like we discuss and we chop it up and stuff, like all these things. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what's going on that side. How do I bridge the gap closer and closer for where like something as carny as pro wrestling is, and makes it cool for people to just be like, yo, this isn't as like weird and whack. Like I hear DJ Academics be like, oh, what's the name doing that corny whack wrestling stuff? Bad Bunny over there, that's weird. I'm like, why is he talking about it like it's weird? You don't even experience it, bro.
Right. Yeah.
Like, bring your ass to a show. You'll have a whole different like.
And that's why every time like you have a match or you're doing something, I always retweet that shit so people can just see.
that.
Like I'm like, yo, just because I always would kind of think I'm like, yo, Kaz always into this wrestling shit. Like, what is so intriguing about this shit?
It brings you a little closer, and that's the goal. Just get you a little bit closer
and
each and every time.
He never pushed me. He was like,
and what he does now is, and why I always appreciate it so much, why I'm so glad he was here today, is something that I don't think we could have been doing 6 or 7 years ago when I first was really like having any sort of influence in pro wrestling. You know what I mean? Like it would. The big breakthrough I think for me and like the whole like crossover was Wale hosting that rap battle with the Usos and the New Day. Like that was something that was
I'm like, oh, this is where we're getting there.
Yeah, like we tapped a few things for a while, and then that New Day battle happened with the Usos and the Don DeMarco, and like it was an actual good battle. Like
it was very good.
Like
very good.
That like kicked open the doors for like, oh, okay. Now we can really do some shit. You know what I'm saying? So you being able to fucking
then Hit Row having a cipher on NXT,
bro. And we can wrap it up after this. But that Wale Mania shit in Dallas, when I saw that turnout, I'm like, oh, Kaz is tapped into some shit that I didn't really understand. And I just saw like this reminds me of like what we used to do with Palooza.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, these niggas are. This is what he's been doing this whole time, and it's like I didn't understand
we'll see
how.
you in Los Angeles
Yeah,
this
like,
year.
I just didn't understand how like the correlation with wrestlers and how they fuck with hip hop just as much as we do.
And that's the thing, though. It's becoming younger. It's becoming like all pop culture, man.
Yeah,
like
course,
obviously when I first got in, like they're mostly older dudes that are into rock, and like that was the popular
it was the
culture
rock
at the
Yeah,
time.
there's
you know?
MTV influence
There's the
and all
MTV
that.
generation.
Yeah.
And now the generation now is up on TikTok, up on hip hop, up on all this shit. Like that's the dominant genre right now. So obviously you're having kids grow up in that culture.
Yeah.
So when Wale Mania is in town, like it's nothing for me to have every wrestler come through and show up because that's where they want to be at anyway.
That shit was fun.
You know what I'm saying? So it's we're just getting started, man. Like this, I got so many plans this next couple of months and years with wrestling, music, and just the culture, and just doing a whole bunch of stuff. And Swerve, Mr. Say Less, aka Mr. 106, man, record-breaking fourth appearance right here on the show. Yeah. So proud of you. Upset that you lost the titles last night, but it's all good. You know
it's
what?
still sore.
That's the best. You got the black eye too, man. We even
I
get to
do.
zoom in on that
Get me, catch me on this one. It's ugly.
Damn, Billy.
Hall of Famer Billy Gunn sat right on my face.
Jesus Christ.
Pause.
I'm about to say, hey, yo. But man, it's all I got so much love for you, bro.
Thank you, family.
Like, your fucking growth over the past, like, what is it, 5 years now? So 6
Yeah.
years, man.
Podcast
like,
is still growing too. Just had Jericho on.
Nice.
Shout out to
got Dominic Rogers Cromartie coming through.
Oh, that's a big one.
Next.
Okay. Shout out
this
Swerve
one
City
day.
Podcast. My guy Teezy's around here somewhere kicking it.
Yeah, he took a nap somewhere. I don't know. It was a late night, bro.
But yeah, man, catch Swerve every Wednesday or Friday on TNT or TBS on AEW Dynamite and Rampage. His tag team partner Keith Lee. We'll see where that goes from here.
We haven't talked since then.
Can't wait to see where that leads.
I'm a little sore. He accepts it a little easier than I do.
Okay.
I'm a sore loser because I'm petty.
Man,
and I want to get back.
We'll see what Dynamite's hitting for this week.
Yes,
where you at this week, bro?
Rolling Loud. I got three festival day passes.
I'll be on Saturday.
I'm there. I'm deciding what day to go to, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. But me and my lady go venture out there and
awesome,
nice,
and have some fun. So
Swerve, you outside over there? I seen you. You got your bracelets already.
Yeah,
you got right now.
Already got
I'm excited. I'll be out there, bro. I ain't been behind the crazy backstage stuff since like 2018. That was on Miami Rolling Loud. And I was like rolling with Beast Coast.
I went to the last Rolling Loud in New York City.
I never been to one in New York. I just been to Miami.
Yeah, it's at Citi Field. I went to the last one. I think I went to the night 50 Cent headline.
Yeah. I wish I would have been to
that shit. Was
really do.
Shout out to Tariq. Shout out to the whole team of Rolling Loud.
I really wish I would have been to that, man.
We was in the rafters. Like they had Cat's Deli catering, and like 50 Cent came up to the rafters before he performed. Like he had a VIP section. I forgot who was performing before him, but he had a VIP section. Brought like 90 niggas up there. His Branson cognac, whatever the fuck that shit was called. He chilled up there for like 10 minutes, then left, and then tore that stage down. But
he's an animal, bro.
We'll see what happens this weekend. Nicki Minaj has me blocked on Twitter, so I don't think I'm gonna go see her perform. I'm petty.
It's best you don't.
I'm petty.
I gotta break out, man. I gotta head over to
petty
MSG,
party.
But Swerve, the one and only Swerve Strickland of AEW Wrestling. Thank you so much, Mr. Say Less, for pulling up. My name is Kazeem. Find me weekday. Make sure you subscribe. YouTube.com/Kazeem. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, type in Say Less with Kaz, Lowkey, and ROSY.
Yep.
And also, most importantly, we are building our Patreon back up. You're going to be getting more Say Less, more during the week, but you got to pay the fee. So make sure you go to patreon.com/Say Less, or just just type in Say Less in your Patreon app. We'll pop.
And I keep telling y'all motherfuckers, if you want to battle, pull up. That's what the Patreon is for. Don't old gosh me. Y'all niggas talk wrestling for 2 hours. Let me get my verses shit off real quick for 30 seconds.
Get your verses off,
I'm
man.
gonna fuck all y'all niggas up.
All right, you got it, bro. You got it, bro. Like we always do at this time, man. Stay free, stay safe, and always say less. We'll catch you next week, y'all. Peace.
Let's get it.
Go home safe, Rosie.
If she comes on at all.
If she comes on, goddamn it.